You gotta score a goal, which one can I do? If what's with me and the net, there's no hole. Most goalies are quick, react to the drop of a hat, but I don't need to be quick when I get so much fun. You play goalie, but what do you do with 1,500 pounds?
Good evening and welcome to episode 5 of Being Manic Dave. This episode I'm going to talk about sports, specifically the Winter Olympics in South Korea going on right now. I can't complain as I'm watching the Winter Olympics. It's 85 degrees out here in Arizona every day consistently. I wish it would stay this way all year round. Absolutely perfect weather, can't complain on that front. Last Sunday the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I grew up outside of Philadelphia my whole life, and they never won anything. So that was awesome to see. Of course, the Patriots fell in Tom Brady. David beat Goliath. Nick Foles coming in the end of the season, the last couple games with Carson Wentz injured, stepping up to the plate and getting it done. Of course, I wish I could say the same for the Eagles fans. Not all of them, of course, but the ones looting and rioting after they won. I know they haven't won anything. We haven't won anything in many, many years. It took the Phillies a long time up until recently to win anything. The Flyers, I don't even know. The Sixers, of course, no. I understand those concepts, but when you're looting stores and stealing bags of chips and candy bars, it kind of defeats the purpose, and you're on camera for everybody to see. You know, it's one thing to celebrate in the streets and I guess, a little damage here and there. Nothing like promoting the damage, but like, maybe some trash or something was left. But when you're overturning cars, climbing poles, breaking into stores, business people, hardworking owners of stores, and looting it for candy bars in the name of the Philadelphia Eagles, a sports team, winning a championship, and then a couple days later having a parade down the same streets, I think that's kind of crazy. Even though I'm from there myself, I think they're pretty aggressive overall, but it was a great Super Bowl. Let's see what else is going on. You have basketball. You have LeBron James pretty much disbanded his team. They were struggling this year. D. Wade's no longer there. A lot of the other players, Isaiah Thomas, a lot of them are now gone middle of the season. They substituted some other players. I don't even know really much about them. I just think it's interesting to see what happens with the dynamics there. Of course, Golden State's still strong, always going to be strong, going in the favorite into the playoffs when they do, with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and all them. You have the Houston Rockets. James Harden's got to be the top 3, number 3 best player in the NBA. I mean, the Rockets are looking really strong. Obviously, you have LeBron and Kevin Durant, probably 1 and 2. But you have the Rockets, you have a couple other teams that are all right, the Celtics, Oklahoma City, Westbrook. So it'll be interesting to see what plays out there, but obviously we got to favor Golden State going into the playoffs when that happens. Baseball will be starting up in a couple months, really another month out here. We have spring training. We have the Cactus League out here in Arizona. Of course, the Grapefruit League is in Florida. It's the longest season ever. I grew up playing baseball. It was my number 1 sport that I loved growing up. I loved it and played it well, but damn, looking at it nowadays, 162 games is a long season. I think it's entirely too many games to dictate winners and then have like a 1-game wild card playoff spot like the Diamondbacks were faced with, which they won just last season, that game against the Rockies to play the Dodgers. But anyways, I think the season's entirely too long, but it should be interesting. We'll see what happens there. Of course, you got the Winter Olympics going on in South Korea right now. Just started up. I've been watching it all weekend. Non-stop coverage. You got everything from speed skating to snowboarding to skiing, cross country, downhill. You got figure skating. You got the luge. You got bobsled going on. You got even curling. I like watching most all of them. I'll have to say curling's a little bit boring. It is strategic. Basically they have a 42-pound piece of granite they set on TV, a circle on the ice. They keep the ice about 23 degrees so it can slide, and they got some brooms, and they push the thing up to a certain point, like the line, and then it goes down, and there's a circle, and they have to land there and knock their opponents' ones out of the circle, yada yada, and they brush it as they go down. Pretty boring to watch. Still very strategic. I respect the skill, involved there, but bobsledding's insane. Luge is insane. These guys are going down on sleds like 100 miles an hour. That's awesome. I like watching the snowboarding, the downhill. Of course, you have the little political implications there. They're all in South Korea, which is just south of North Korea. Kim Jong-un, what's going on with that in politics. But it's nice to see all the countries battling out. I miss the fact that it's every 4 years, because everybody gets tired, even though I like football and basketball and baseball and hockey and all that kind of stuff. It's nice to see different sports that you don't see every day. People competing at the highest level from different countries. So I think the Olympics is always a good thing, and it brings people together temporarily, and then they go back to their problems after a couple weeks when it's over. Let's see what else is going on in sports. College basketball, there's a lot of different teams taking over the share of 1, 2, and 3, the top teams in basketball, so we'll have to see what happens in March Madness. But basically, you have different sports, and you have the hockey going on right now. You have the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They're a newer team in the league, actually the first year, and I think they're in first place. So we'll see what happens there among hockey. Competition is a good thing. It helps promote excellence. That's the greatest thing about sports in general, or even games for that matter, especially team ones. Well, it doesn't even matter if it's individual. Competition is always a good thing. People trying to outdo each other, take it to the next level, see what happens. So that's a good thing there. There's a lot of good sports movies too. Growing up, of course, you had Rocky. Legendary. Rudy, the football movie. Great stories of underdogs. Love the underdog stories. Lots of good movies. Even Sandlot, Field of Dreams, Major League. Who didn't love Major League with Charlie Sheen? Wild Thing. Gotta love that movie. So definitely a lot of cool sports going on. Out here in Arizona, we got the Diamondbacks. They do pretty good. The stadium's cool. You got the Cardinals. You got Arizona State. Herm Edwards just signed on as the head coach, so we'll see what happens there. It's not as strong of a state in sports like Boston or Philly or cities like that, New York, Los Angeles, but still pretty cool. Of course, with great weather, they can play baseball and a lot of outdoor activities all year round in Arizona. So even if it's something like freestyle frisbee or something, softball, things can pretty much happen when it's 85 degrees in February. So that's pretty cool. Not so much winter sports. Got to go up north to like Flagstaff and go snowboarding or skiing up in the mountains up there, snow bowl, something like that. Go to Colorado or California or somewhere else for that. Whether it was playing baseball in the backyard or football, two-hand touch with friends, or even Nerf basketball in the bedroom with my brother growing up, or Nintendo games like Tecmo Super Bowl and Madden, sports has always been a big part of my life. Played baseball and basketball when I was younger. Didn't have the greatest coordination for basketball. Did pretty well in baseball up until I was about 16. Then the kids kind of grew, caught up to me there. Remember in Little League one year, I hit a bunch of home runs, including 2 in one game. I even hit a home run over the Major League fence in baseball when I was 16. My mom says 15 the summer before I turned 16. I still have that baseball today. That was a pretty cool moment. But I definitely enjoyed the camaraderie and the teammates and the whole idea of working together towards a common goal. I think sports is a good thing for kids. I think football could be a little bit of a risk for kids, or for parents for kids, with the whole concussions and breaking your neck, and very violent type of sport, even with all the padding and everything. I don't know if I had a kid ever, if I'd want them to play football. I'd probably prefer they played basketball or even baseball or something like that. But I guess to each their own there. Then you have UFC and these fighting sports. Obviously, they didn't really want their kids to grow up that way. you gotta respect the athleticism among these fighters, and the skills and the different disciplines and fighting styles that they have. That's pretty interesting stuff there. So you have, even bowling and pool. Those are interesting. People bowling 300s, the whole idea and how hard that is. Shooting, pool perfect games and things like that. So that's always pretty interesting. So yeah, that's my sports and Olympics topic here today. This is Being Manic Dave. My next few episodes, the next one will be Every Day I'm Hustling 101, how to get a job no matter where you come from, what your background is, no matter who you are, step-by-step instructions on how to do that. The one after that I will be doing will be Penny Pinching 101, how to save money, different hints and tips you can to pinch pennies, whether it's shopping at the store or an everyday part of your life. And then followed by that will be another one in the series. That one will be called Street Smarts 101, how to stay safe out there on the streets, be aware, make good decisions at your home and while you're out and about on the streets. We'll be going over various different topics as we come up in here throughout the week. I'm Being Manic Dave. I do hope you have a good night and enjoy everything. Enjoy the the hometown or wherever you're at right now, your family, your friends, the weather, if it's warm, if it's cold. Just think about when it's going to be summertime and